Enough monkey business.
Yeah, enough monkeying around.
It's time to talk about the monkey movie. Kingdom of Planet of the Apes, folks. Latest movie out in the cinema. The start of the new trilogy in the Ape Saga. Was this the seventh film, if you're counting the original trilogy? It's the fourth of the new reboot or retconning of the series. Originally starring Andy Serkis, you had a couple of big names in it, actually. You had Andy Serkis, Woody Harrelson in the last one. You had James Franco in the first one. You know, all big name stars coming through. Of course, original trilogy should have had like Andy Serkis winning the Oscar. Should have had more recognition, and it's really like overlooked in modern cinema today. Everyone thinks they're great movies, but nobody really hypes them up as much as they should, which is always like a big criticism I have over cinema, because I love these movies. And I have to say, the fourth movie does not upset. And I feel like a lot of people I was like, oh, more Apes movies, you know? I kind of just felt like, oh, great, another Apes movie. Let's hope they don't ruin it. More like mitigating risk rather than, accepting change or accepting new. But I feel like we left that cinema there the other day, and I was heavily impressed with what I saw. Heavily impressed.
Yeah,
I think first question is, do you think this movie was needed?
Look, needed. What do we really need in this movie? Do you know what I mean? Like, I need to be entertained, but how often do I need to be entertained? Dude, if it was needed, no, I would have said before seeing the movie. Before seeing the movie, I'd be like, no, what's the point? Not needed. But now, to be honest, the last movie came out 7 years ago, if I believe.
Yeah, it was during COVID, actually. No.
Not during
it was
COVID.
2017.
It was way before COVID.
2017, man,
Yeah.
that's...
Yeah, 7 years ago. That's what I said.
7 years ago, yeah, 7.
To be honest, look, maybe not needed, but kind of. We haven't had, as you said, you haven't had an Apes movie in a while. And a lot of us, including myself, forgot kind of about him. Like, I always liked him. I always had a blast watching them. But I remember thinking, yeah, the Apes movies, they're always good. Yeah, they're a good time. But I kind of forgot how phenomenal they actually are. Like, they are seriously great movies. And so this movie kind of, in my mind, reminded not only us, obviously, but the entire world, hey, this isn't some random Netflix movie. This isn't Rebel Moon Part 1 and 2. This is a high quality, high budget, mostly CGI food movie with a bunch of monkeys, which is phenomenal, which tell a good story, and it's not just there to gawk at, It's not just Avatar where you're there for the spectacle. This movie is really, really good. And I think, obviously it surprised us. I think it surprised anyone to go to see it, to be honest. Because I don't think anyone would expect it to be as good as it actually is.
Yeah, I can agree with you. I don't believe that it's needed. I still feel like the original trilogy is perfect. It's a perfect way to bring in a character, a convoluted character, raise him up from like almost like a neglected being into a full blown like hero, leader of the tribe.
Yeah.
It's the perfect story. It's almost like a Macbeth style story, You have to be willing to kill in order to take the throne. And the heavy shoulders you have, trying to deal with everything and trying to keep the world together as it is. Like, Caesar is a phenomenal character. Like, I'd say in 34 years, the likes of his characters will be studied in like film, media, stuff like that. This will be the kind of character studied for character analysis.
I don't know. I love Caesar, but I don't think they'll be studying his character.
If you think about his rise, so think about his morals, his attitudes towards humans in general, it kind of shows like a tragic hero. Like, he loses everything come the end of it.
Well, his son
absolutely everything in the name of peace.
Well, not really, because his son is alive, and then he is on top. His monkey survives.
His son is alive.
His clan wins in the end.
His best friend like James Franco's character dies. He ultimately dies. He has to say goodbye to them forever. You know, he understands that. His wife dies. His other children die. He gets tortured.
Look, I'm not saying he doesn't suffer, but look, he has a. I wouldn't say it's as tragic as you may see. I think he suffered a lot, but I wouldn't say it's a. I'd say it's more tragic for humans, if you know what I mean. It's a tragedy of humanity and the rise of the apes. True hell. Obviously not true fucking sunshine and rainbows. It's true struggle and true, as you said, through him trying to do peace and ultimately true war, which allows the Planet of the Apes to eventually dawn and rise to a new world, rise to a kingdom, if you allow me to say so.
Nice use of the titles there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think.
Well,
yeah, you go. No, you go.
I was just about to say I think it's time we start talking about the new movie.
Yeah.
Look, we've talked about the trilogy now, and coming into this new movie, of course, there's like they have to reference the old movies here.
Yeah.
They have to reference Caesar, and we see him almost play like a prophet style character in this new movie. Like his influence is still there. 300 years later, I feel like we got to talk about that first. You know, the Caesar influence here and how it's kind of like warped throughout the movie.
Yeah.
And we could see it first in like characters like we're gonna get onto them later, but like two sides of the coin here. You have Raka and you have Proximus, and I love the ties they use. And one, I'll say, which you didn't notice, but I copped it when we walked out of the cinema. The window.
Yeah, the window's phenomenal.
We got to talk about the window here. The use of the window has been seen through all four movies. You know, the window which he looked through at the starting of Rise of the Planet of the Apes kind of shows his like innocence. You know, he wants to look through the window. It's his optimistic viewpoint on life. You know, he gets to see the outside world. He gets to see kids playing. He's happy. You know, the window is used as a means for him to gather all the apes together in Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Like when if you remember, he throws the gas in.
Yeah.
All the monkeys in the cells, and it makes them all hyper intelligent. His way to reconvene all of them is to draw it in like the playground area. He also draws it in a cell as well as a means to be like, you know, try bring him back to home. But the symbol has been used a lot, and it kind of shows Caesar's influence throughout the whole thing. And I think it's really good. I think the fact that if you also go back and watch War of the Planet of the Apes, in around the area which the Eagle Clan is set up, is roughly around the area which Caesar dies in.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Interesting fact for you there.
With the skyscrapers.
Yeah, it's supposed to be said that is in around the area in which Caesar died and like the Planet of the Apes was formed, which is interesting. So Caesar influence in this movie has been really good, and like we said, it's 300 years in the future, many generations later, they say. And I think we start off with the characters, the good characters here.
Well,
of course,
I do want to touch on what you briefly mentioned is I think I want to mention it now since we're talking about Caesar, the corruption of Caesar's image, because as you said, Caesar, you know what he believed in peace and strived and eventually passed, and these apes in the movie do reference Caesar and they reference a symbol, but obviously there's different interpretations of Caesar. We have Raka, who knows what Caesar was about. He has the Chronicles of Caesar, and he discusses, you know, what Caesar meant, what he wanted apes together strong, ape no kill ape, his rules, what is law. But then you have Proximus, you have his gorilla, who, for them, Caesar was, you know, the unifier, the man who struck down the humans, who made apes big, and he united apes. To them, Caesar is more of a conqueror, more of a liberator, less of a, you know, like less of a person who wanted to actually seek to live with apes. But due to the surroundings which Caesar was, not his choice, he had to, you know, eventually fight and kill the humans. And so they interpret Caesar's image as this ruler, this conqueror who seeks technology. And so they effectively bastardize his name 300 years later in, you know, in their own methods, which I think it's very interesting because obviously it's perfect parallel to real life. But we're constantly, I mean, if you very, very simply, if you just look at religion and how often people say, for religion they do X and Y, which the religion never preached, never stated, or in fact condemned completely. I think it's very interesting because obviously Caesar, it's not like his son would just be king and they'd all be kings, you know what I mean? Like, these are 200 years like later, empires rise and fall. So I'm very glad that they didn't just do, oh, it's like Caesar's, great-great-grandson and he's like the king of all apes.
Yeah. No, I'm glad they use Caesar's kind of word and they twist it and contort. Like you said there, the difference between Raqqa and the difference between Proximus. And it kind of shows, we're going to get onto Proximus later, folks. I don't want to like delve too deep into him now, but it kind of shows like two like conspiring tones of Caesar's name. So Caesar the unifier and Caesar the dictator. Of course, Caesar here being Julius Caesar from history. And history is a big thing for Proximus, as we'll talk about later on. But I like the almost like the double entendre of Caesar, like Caesar's word, Caesar's name, because Caesar also did take over tribes of apes. He also did conquer lands and he did claim lands as his own, but he did it in the name of peace, which is what Raqqa fights for. So like you said there, Caesar's words, I loved contortion for better or for worse in this movie, and they really do a good job of tying in the original trilogy, but not letting it define what will be the next trilogy.
Yeah.
I think that's very important, and it's almost like, it's like recalling rather than, pushing. It's not like the Star Wars new trilogy where it's just rehashing old bullshit. This isn't fucking Caesar coming back from the dead here. This isn't like all of Caesar's actions define future actions. No, it's more like history reliving itself, and that's going to be a big theme later on. But yeah, I think we've covered that. You covered that well there. We gotta get onto our characters here.
Yeah.
This movie is defined by its characters, folks. A movie about apes is defined by its characters. I never really thought I'd say that.
Yeah.
Considering the past 3 movies, we go from humans leading interactions to apes speaking in sign language heavily during Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, to apes only just gaining like communication or being able to speak within War of the Planet of the Apes. This movie here is heavily defined by like the characters of the apes. They lead even more so than the humans. The humans are only there as side characters, which has never really been the case. It's always been how the apes interact with humans.
Yeah.
It's never really been about like how the apes interact with each other in aid or not of aid of humans. Of course, we got to start off with our guy, number 1, the main man himself, Noah, who we got to talk about. He looks a hell of a lot like Caesar. Looks awfully like Caesar. You said it leaving the cinema there. It's probably going to come up in a later movie saying, he's a descendant of Caesar, or he'll use that to his advantage, or they'll get like a photo of Caesar or something like that. Like, I feel like that is probably what's going to happen. You can agree with me there. I think it will come up in the storyline later on. Either that or...
I don't know. I think... I don't know, actually. I think they might... I don't remember saying that, but actually, I feel like they might not. I feel like they might... I feel like what they might do is obviously have him being the main character, him being the hero, but he'll do the acts of Caesar. He'll act like Caesar, but it's not like he'll do it because he knows he's related. Do you know what I mean? He'll do it just because he is a good ape and he believes in Caesar, and in turn he will the Caesar is like the title of Romans, and obviously I feel like he might take on the title of Caesar Noah, and in turn. Effectively, obviously he's related to Caesar, but let's just say he wasn't. It doesn't matter because Caesar's ideas flow through him, you know?
It's almost like, I hate to bring in like real world like religion here, but it's almost like people taking on the name of like a prophet, or people taking on the name of like Jesus almost. It kind of feels that way. But yeah, I 100% see where you're coming from. Taking on the name of Caesar in order to like enact his will. Or to kind of unify people.
Yeah.
Same, like an emperor kind of name. Definitely see that happening, and like that, you kind of hit the nail on the head there. You said character development is kind of similar to Caesar as well.
Yeah.
Like, we can see Noah in this movie. He's very similar to Caesar in like the way he kind of came up throughout the 3 movies. You kind of have like an elevated side of that here in this first movie. Like, you see like Caesar in the first movie, he's a child. He goes from like innocent ape, he doesn't really understand, he thinks all humans are friends, to being tortured, persecuted. He's gone through the rough end, to eventually having to like fight to take leadership in order to lead the apes, and then eventually bring them to safety. Noah goes through all this as well in this movie. He goes back to save his family. He has to take leadership. He has to take responsibility for who he is, for who he wants to be. He has to fill his father's shoes. And he does that all but in one movie. And like, I just think the similarities will have to be addressed.
I don't know. I feel like how are the apes? I don't know. I don't know. I don't think they need to be addressed, because I don't think that's what makes him unique or important. Do you know what I mean? Like, he is his character. I don't think he was like, oh, but he's related to Caesar. Yeah, but like, it doesn't need to be known, because he can be like Caesar without actually, being related to him.
See, what I'm trying to get at here is, could we be seeing? So, we've already seen people using the name of Caesar. We see it in Proximus. He uses the name of Caesar in order to push about his antics, to gain control, to just oppress his kingdom.
Yeah.
Could we see almost Noah taking on this new Caesar role almost in like a Paul Atreides kind of style, and like he takes the name of Caesar, and the name which has built up so much hope with the apes or whatever, and he's like, okay, I need to fully inhabit the role now. Which very well could be the case here.
Yeah, no, I as I said, I do think he will become the natural leader of his clan, and other clans don't come across due to like the pressure from humans. I do think he'll become, like, as I said, I actually think he will become, like I just said, literally, it'll be like Caesar Noah, Caesar this, like in real life when it was Julius Caesar and Augustus Caesar and all the different other Caesars.
Yeah. Well, so we're saying he has a physical resemblance to Caesar. Is that what we'll agree on?
Well, yeah, obviously. I mean, look, he is related. Like, I'm pretty sure in the wiki it says like he is related to Caesar. Like, I'm pretty sure it's like Caesar's descendants. Like, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what it says. Let me just double check. Yeah. I don't know. Look. Anyway,
Anyway, we'll get on to our next character, who's definitely a fucking descendant. Like, they're trying to do something here, because Rocca looks exactly like Maurice from the original trilogy.
He just knew that. He's
just an orangutan.
Maurice had flaps. No. Maurice had flaps on his side of his face. Rocca had no flaps.
we're analysing faces.
It's the truth. Maurice's whole thing is he had those big cheekbones.
Yeah. Maurice did have a huge
and
face.
Maurice was giant. Like, people forget how big Maurice was. Maurice was a giant. Rocca's big, but he ain't that big. He ain't built like Maurice. Look up look up an image of Maurice. He's huge.
No, I remember Maurice. Maurice is like,
Maurice, and like Rocka's like a slim orangutan, he's lean, he's mean. Maurice is like giant, he's like a sumo wrestler, like, get this beast away from me.
I just think it's funny though how both characters, Caesar and Noah, are guided by an orangutan.
Oh yeah.
Who acts as like their conciliary, acts as their like their key point of wisdom. If you remember, Maurice in Rise of the Planet of the Apes actually shows Caesar how to be a monkey almost. So, he was his first friend or whatever, and he then becomes Caesar's best friend. Is conciliary, like I said there. It's kind of crazy the resemblance there.
I feel like we might be able to assume Maurice started the whole like order of Caesar or whatever.
He is the person who first put up like his hands, for the apes together strong. Also nice. We forgot to say it actually. Yeah, apes together strong. I really like that as well. Almost like a prayer, like blessing yourself. Apes together strong. But Raka's character, you like this character. I'll let you talk about him.
I thought Raka was phenomenal for so many different reasons. So obviously, first thing he has to. What a lot of movies get wrong is getting the lore, getting exposition out. So what I learned about this movie is it doesn't start off Caesar's funeral, and then 300 years later, and we see characters doing whatever. And that's crucial. You don't get bogged down. It's not like Star Wars intro with all this text. There's none of that. It's just apes and they're doing their things. And like they have their perceptions of the world, what humans are, whatever. And Raka comes in and he's like, well, you're wrong. It's actually this, and it's all done so naturally. It's done casually, with banter, and over the course of, a couple of minutes. It's not splurged out. It's not dumped right in your face. That's number one. Number two, he adds, look, I don't think every movie needs to be funny or brevity. Well, he does add a lot of brevity to it. I mean, Raka's a funny guy. He pulls a couple of emotes, and he says a couple of funny jokes. Like, Raka is funny. But obviously,
Raka's a funny fucking dude. He like Raka carries the fucking comedic relief in this.
Raka's a funny guy, but I think what I love about Raka the most, like obviously his character, his personality, how he helps Noah to grow, and how he takes in May. But what I love about him most is, like, spoiler for the whole movie, everyone.
Bro, we've been spoiling the movie for a while
now. We haven't said much. This is the first big spoiler. Well, he dies. He dies halfway through the movie, like straight up. He dies. He saves May, and then gets taken away by rapids and is dead.
He dies before we see Proximus.
Yeah,
like that's insane.
Like
that is insane, folks.
It just shows. Obviously, it shows a threat of the apes and of the gorilla, but also it shows like. Man, this movie doesn't care. Like, these characters, no one's safe. And he instantly establishes, like, damn. Like, this journey's perilous. And instantly, that level of the threat, that weight that hangs over your head. As a viewer, you watch these characters, you're like, man, like, what's gonna happen? You don't know. Like, you don't even know if Noah's mates are alive. You don't know if Suna and Anaya, you don't even know if any of them are alive. His man, what even happened? You have no clue. I think the power which his death instills is tremendous. And I think Raka served his role perfectly.
Yeah, he bridged the gap for Noah. He brought Noah from a place where he was kind of like, he lived in a world of neglect. Like, they didn't really care much for the outside world. They didn't have any premise or anything like that.
Very sheltered.
And they said it in the movie. Yeah, they sheltered him. They sheltered his whole clan, his whole group. Like, Noah says it in the movie. It's like I forget what they call them. Like the leaders. Is that what he says? Like, the leaders don't know everything.
Yeah.
He says, like, the leaders don't know everything. They've hidden this from us. They've hidden Caesar from us. They don't know anything. Like, they are blind to see, And Raka helps bridge the gap for not only Noah, but for other people who may not have watched the original trilogy. Like, what Caesar stood for, how apes weren't the dominant species, because, of course, it's 300 years later. they obviously assume they're the dominant species, and they assume that humans, echoes as they call them, like echoes of former selves, kind of funny, but like echoes are the primitive species, like they are the gorillas.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get more into that later with the big spoiler. Do you think Rocka's death was ill-timed? Do you think we could have got more out of him?
I think the way it was done is very good because it wasn't like a heroic death. It was sudden. It was, I wouldn't say brutal, but it was just kind of unceremonious. And I think if every single person's death is a big "oh my god, holy shit" crying moment, then it just drags everything down, and you know when someone's gonna die. But this the amount of risk, and I think what it does to the characters and how it changes them. I think it's phenomenal. I don't do it ill-timed at all. I think more Rocka. The movie is different if Rocka is more, and I don't think it's different for better.
Yeah, I just seen a couple of people online. We also had like Moist Critical. He said Rocka's death was a bit ill-timed, but like you said there, I think he served his purpose.
I think people will be like, oh yeah, he's dead. I wish I had him more. But I think that's exactly the point that he serves. People are like, oh man, I wish I saw more Rocka. Exactly, we all wish we saw more Rocka. But unfortunately, in the world that Noah lives in, that's just not how it works, you know?
Not every character can survive.
Yeah.
And it definitely, like you said there, it definitely brings up the tension and the disparity of it all. And it leads perfectly into our main antagonist for the film. My personal favourite character. I love them so much. Proximus, King Ape, in his vast new kingdom he has. As soon as we see him, folks, he is insane. The pressure, everything, the whole. You have Noah coming into the scene, and he's landing in the campsite or whatever, and they're saying, "This is your new home. This is where you belong. This is where you'll stay with your clan or whatever." And he's showing this camp. You're thinking to yourself, Jesus, like, are they going to be slaves? Is that what they're doing for Proximus? Are they just going to be out there attacking more tribes, taking over more tribes? And you see this big vault on the side, and you're wondering to yourself, like, what is the vault for? Almost looks like floodgates. You know, it's to stop the floods from the beach or whatever. Big, sharp, rugged walls separating the sea from this beach, and you see this big, almost like looks like a sniper pole almost.
Yeah.
A big like kind of tower in the center of the beach, and all of Noah's clan to the side, and he goes off and greets them or whatever, and you hear this loud klaxon almost. So all the apes, all the clan, they all run off to the center, and they're like, you must kneel. It's like, why? It's like, because he's here. Proximus is here. And you probably get the best intro for a villain I've seen in any movie in such a long time. His entrance.
In a while, yeah. I thought you were going to say ever. I was like, oh, hold
on. No, not ever. No. But in a while.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I haven't seen an entrance like that. This boisterous. This, like... Well, it's almost like menacing.
I mean,
he comes, he starts swinging around. He's like strong, able. He's showing himself off almost. He lands, and you get the iconic lines, "What a wonderful day!"
Oh, so good.
And Noah's just looking like, "What the fuck?"
He's like, "Damn, it truly is a wonderful day."
He says it once or twice. You know, it's almost theatrical in a sense.
Oh yeah, it's a performance.
Like, he is putting on a show for a crowd. And this is after, I forgot to say, the character of May is introduced to the historian. I'm just going to call him the historian. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill wannabe from Shameless. I knew I recognized his face. He was from Shameless. But gets introduced to the historian and is like, "You have a good gig here. You better not screw it up. Like, I'm going to go teach him his history lessons." And Proximus, he gives us this big entrance, very dramatic, very boisterous. And he sets the slave apes, people he's collected, off onto the gate, with gunpowder, and he's like, we gotta open this up. We have to see what's inside. All my treasures await me. Instantly, as soon as I saw him, I thought of, and I showed you the clip. For anybody who is watching this and they want to see characters in a similar light, watch the likes of Blackbeard from Pan, or you also have Far Cry 6's The Father.
That's 5.
Shares a few
5.
Oh, 5. Had it in the notes of 6. Yeah, Far Cry 5's The Father.
Yeah, Joseph Seed. Joseph
Seed.
Yeah, his introduction is very similar.
Very similar, and they share kind of the same characteristics. Like that cult-like leader.
Yeah, like the literal cult of personality. You follow what his teachings, his ideals, but also it's his words that convince you. It's not his strength or or anything else. It's his promises. His promises for the future. His promises of technology.
Yeah, his promises of almost enlightenment. Yeah. Proximus's promise of enlightenment and of, bettering ape civilization and of unifying the people and doing all this. And we come to realize that Proximus isn't just a normal ape. He's extremely smart.
Yeah.
He's extremely well capable as well. He is a leader. Of course, not by any good means or good reasons, but he is a leader. And you see that, especially if we want to talk about it now, the probably one of the most underrated scenes in the whole movie, the dinner table scene.
Yeah.
He truly shows his power in this scene. Him and the historian are there chopping it up, and we see Noah walk in. And of course, May is sitting there as well, and she's sitting there quietly. The historian's trying to push her to talk, to try cement her spot on this round table. And Proximus greets Noah or whatever and tells him, Noah, I hear you're a very smart ape. We have lots of room for smart apes. Come sit down, eat with me or whatever. And he brings out Anaya, one of Noah's best mates, to serve his table, to show the power he has. It's like, your clan are serving me. You would do best to do what I say, or this will be you. Of course, Anaya is he's a klutz. He drops the grapes. And Proximus, instead of going berserk, he just says, go. And Anaya instantly, he's shitting himself. And he scuttles off. He gives Noah one last look to kind of say, don't make any funny moves here. It's not going to work. And he leaves.
But also, part of the scene I want to mention, the way the scientist is reacting, and the way he's like, oh, tell me a joke and make it a funny one, the way he's just the scientist is a jester, he's just I think Proximus says yes, he just does it,
Of course, he's there to teach him history, but he's more there to, entertain him.
Yeah, make sure he doesn't get bored.
I think the historian guy actually says that. I think he says the last thing you want is for Proximus to get bored of you. And that's why he teaches him history, and that's why he does all the things he does. But the scene I want to most highlight is Proximus pulling Noah aside, and he shows him the view of all the apes down below. Not just apes, but of his clan. And he gives him that bird's eye view, and he tells him, the humans have treasure which I want. Technologies of a past world. Did you know that we were the primitive species? They kept us locked up in cages. They have technology down there which would help them cross the seas and help them take down civilizations, help them fly. They used to fly, Noah. I know, I was like, what? Oh shit. And Proximus gives him his grand plan of he wants to get inside and he wants to use that technology to make apes better. And of course, May's eyes light up. She instantly recognizes the threat which Proximus holds. Because not only does he understand that that it's technology inside, it's not just a big door, but it's technology which could help further not only his kingdom but apes in general. And that's when she comes up with a grand plan to stop Proximus, to push the plot along, and to take whatever information can be taken out of the vault and given back to the humans to help them push. But Proximus, an amazing character.
Yeah, I mean, he's such a presence, you know.
It's crazy to think he's only in 40% of the movie.
Sure.
40%. That's it. And yet he still has that hold.
Oh, I mean, his presence is felt like, all the time. It's really good.
I think it's time we talk about a character which, like, I don't have any quarrels with this character. But the internet has gone a bit crazy at the moment. Anything you look up about Kingdom of Planet of the Apes or New Reboot or anything like that, they talk in disdain about this one character. And I'm sure you can guess who I'm going to talk about here.
I can guess, but I'd be surprised.
I'm going to talk about May here.
I thought it was a great character.
Look, this is where we're going to differ here. After looking back on it, after replaying it through my mind, I think May serves a great purpose. I don't think she's a great character. I think she's a good character.
Maybe not great, maybe not great, but she's a very good character. In the sense of, because look, how many movies have we seen? Post-apocalyptic, blah blah blah, or any movie where you have the human and it's a bumbling human woman, and oh yeah, she'll fight or whatever, and you know, she'll grunt, blah blah blah, they'll get on with Caesar. We all saw the trailer, that's all we expected. Who thought it was going to be almost Fallout-esque, you know, with the humans living, she's almost a spawn, pretending, basically becoming their friends, betraying them, like her whole plan, her whole reasons, her whole agenda, like at the end, you have no idea what's going to happen, you have no idea who she's going to side with, who she's going to kill, who she's going to save, and this mystery is just so good, you know, this what, like, all this tension in the movie is great, you know, all this uncertainty, because you have no idea. There's nothing better than a movie which you don't know what's going to happen. Then the movie is like, oh yeah, I know this, I know that, you know?
Of course, you don't want that. And I feel like a lot of people are giving out about her character because she isn't an instantly likable human.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that's why a lot of people are giving out, or they're giving out about the twist at the end with the gun, or they're giving out about how she kind of betrayed Noah and stuff like that.
But that's her point. That's like, yes, she is she's a great character, but she's not a good person. You know what I mean? Like, she has her own motives. She has whatever she wants to do. She wants to help the humans. She doesn't really care about the apes. Which is look, that's fine. She doesn't need to be a peaceful person.
I'm sure she can be a peaceful person and she can help further the humans as well. Which is,
yeah,
you know.
But my point is, like, her choosing evil, it is not. That's a character doing a choice. That doesn't mean it's bad. It's like saying Anakin going evil. Oh well, he's just stupid. Like, I feel like a lot of people online they just put their own logic on things. Oh, why did Anakin even listen to Darth Sidious? Like, why didn't he just, like, understand that he is evil and just try to corrupt him? You know, like, he's such an idiot. Why did he not just accept that he's too emotional to become a master? Like, bro, that's the point of the story. Like, humans are very, very flawed individuals that make mistakes and also are not great people at all times. You don't need to be a good person. Watch Game of Thrones, most of those people are absolutely awful assholes. Yet, it's one of the best shows of all time.
And with Game of Thrones, it also shows true human nature. I feel like a lot of people complain because they don't actually understand human nature. Like, we're not all going to be happy, snappy, let's side with the apes because they were nice to me once. Yeah. Or they gave me a fucking blanket. No. They're obviously not going to be like that. And that's not always going to be the case. I feel like people have to get over that as well. I don't think May. Look, I'm gonna say it again. I don't think May is a great character. I think she's a good character. I think she kind of lacked in some scenes, and it kind of felt a little bit rigid or whatever. Of course, that can come down to CGI. It can come
I feel like
down
that
to
was the
stuff
point.
like that.
I mean, she like. I think that's the point. None of these characters are they're rigid in the sense that like their social interactions aren't gonna be good. It's humans with apes. Like none of these guys are comfortable in their positions. Everyone's on edge. Everyone's kind of like looking around. You know, what's gonna happen here? No one's chilling. No one's loose. Apart from Proximus, because he's just chilling the whole time.
Bro is chilling. Bro is chilling.
Also, by the way, the actress that plays her is not. I thought it was X-23 for a while. But it's actually the actress who plays Siri in The Witcher.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and no, it's they don't look that close.
Oh, that's interesting actually. Because I knew I recognized her. I just didn't know
I
from where.
instantly recognized it. I was just like, oh, who is she?
Interesting.
It's a different color hair.
Right. I think I've said all I can say about May. Like, I think she's a good character. She serves a great purpose. She serves the purpose that, you know, the world isn't black and white, but it's grey.
But also, the humans haven't given up. You know, humans aren't going to lie down. They will fight. They're not going to accept the apes as their overlords. Not everyone is like Mark Hamill, the scientist. There are plenty of humans which will fight, which, of course, is like the most human thing. Humans will resist everything and anything and everything. Even by our own humans, we will resist anything, even if it's going to bad for us. So you bet your ass there's going to be people to resist apes.
Oh, of course. And we also get to see that there is still civilizations out there. It's not just completely ape territory where they're just echoes or whatever. There is civilizations, there is satellites, there is outposts of humans still alive. And we get that with the final scene in the movie. The chip which May drops off to the humans being used to help descramble their antennas, and they can be used now. So a lot more communication with other countries, other outposts, other civilizations. Truly shows that, you know, the world might come back to anew. And it leads us on to the future of the series. What do you think the future is going to look like for this next trilogy? What do you think is going to happen?
I actually have no goddamn clue. I feel like I know what's going to happen in the last trilogy. But for these next two movies, look, broad strokes, I think ultimately, by the end of like the third movie of this trilogy, the humans will they will lose. Yeah, the apes will get some form of technology, or they'll beat them. A lot of humans will die, or they'll flee, or something's going to happen. The humans are not going to do good. Maybe in the second movie, they might get a foothold, and in the third one, the apes will, you know, unite under Caesar. Maybe Caesar will have to make drastic actions. He might have to become almost like more like Proximus, more hateful, more kind of manipulative, in order to get the apes together to beat back the humans. Because we've seen it himself. Noah is not. Look, he's like Caesar, but he's not the same as Caesar. He doesn't really like the humans that much, you know. He read the book, even his interaction with Noah at the end, or with May at the end. He said like, "Oh yeah, whatever, you know, we're friends," but you know, he's not.
He said Proximus was right. He said it in that last interaction with her. He's like, Proximus are right. Humans are not to be trusted.
Yeah, they're not going to be like proper buddy. So I think Noah, like, he's not going to be bad, but I think he might be pushed to, you know, give the smackdown on some humans.
Sure, to be fair, like, the whole plan was for, like, them to all run out of the vault or whatever. For Noah to gather his clan together, them to escape before May pulls the plug and floods the place. But she says, nah, fuck that, I'm gonna just flood them. So of course, fucking Noah's gonna be like, what the fuck, man? You almost killed my entire clan just because you wanted to get away with the important info for humans. You know, you are just selfish, you are just greedy. But I feel like for the next two movies, it's got to be something like Noah has to realize, and he has to come to the fact that there will be people in the world who only want to use others for profit. We see Proximus in the movie, he's using other apes to profit. We see May, she's using Noah, and she's using Rocka's death, using others for the expense of herself and for humans. We're going to see humans most likely capturing apes again, using them to profit against each other. Or we could see it the other way around. Like, Caesar's way of thinking is going to have to change coming into the next two movies. And we're going to see probably a perfect grey. How Caesar's means of peace, of humans and apes living together, probably won't exist.
Yeah, no. It's like...
One will take out the other. Oh, who will do it the most humanely is the question. Yeah, I'm excited for the next two movies in any way.
I wonder when it's gonna come out. Like this movie has been out 5 days, and it's already got 140 million in the box office.
That's insane.
That's really good.
See, I'm happy with the production quality of these Apes movies. They all look insane.
Oh, they all look great, yeah.
They all look amazing, and I really, like, as much as I want to see the next installment, I don't want to see them pushed. Like, I don't want to see a half-assed second movie.
No, I don't. But it's like all the movies were spaced in between. They're all like 2-3 years apart. I don't think.
It shouldn't take too long. But I don't want to see this movie come out next year or the year after, and it's half-assed.
It takes too it would take too long. And none of these movies have ever been half-assed. By the way, they've
always been amazing quality. Always been amazing.
Also, wait. Oh shit! Damn. Never mind. Sorry. I was not aware that the director for I wasn't aware Matt Reeves is director for like he directed this one and Dawn and War. He didn't direct Rise.
Yeah.
Well, he also directed fucking The Batman.
Yeah.
Director, writer, and producer.
Yeah.
I didn't realize this was him, Tom. And Cloverfield and jeez.
Yeah, Matt Reeves has a fucking a class discography.
I mean, Matt Reeves is great. I didn't know this was Matt Reeves. I thought this was like just some bloke.
No, just Matt Reeves.
I'm fully confident that the next movies, as long as Matt Reeves is as long as he doesn't get kicked off, I think it's all looking. I think we're gonna be swinging to the moon. I think it's all. Look, it's all gonna be coming up Millhouse at the end of the day.
Look, we're looking to the stars here, just like Noah. We're gonna be looking to the stars here. I feel like it's gonna be a controversial one now, especially all the praise we're giving this movie. But if it means we get a brilliant second installment to this trilogy, I don't mind waiting 2-3 years for this. I don't mind waiting. I don't mind waiting time, because I'm not hankering for another ape movie. I'm not hankering.
I think people forget how long movies take. It's gonna take a while. It's gonna take a while. We're not Marvel. This isn't Marvel. We're not Marvel. This shit isn't gonna get booked out every year.
Sure, this was a real big step. This could have been a flop.
Oh, easy.
This very well could have been a flop, and it could have ruined a near perfect trilogy.
Yeah, it would have been a proper stain. We're talking, Matrix. Obviously, Matrix trilogy is sus, but Matrix 4 Reloaded style.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Yeah, could have completely ruined the series.
Yeah.
Could have tarnished a great modern cinema classic.
Yeah,
but it didn't. It did its service, and it showed that the world isn't ready to let go of the Apes movies, and they can still stay prevalent.
Ape together. Stop.
Ape, no, killed ape. Yeah, who knew a movie about apes would have such a grip on modern media? It's crazy.
But the thing about humans is we fucking love apes, don't we? We love monkeys because they're so close to us. We like to be like, oh look, that's just like me. He's just like me for real.
He's just like me. That's literally me. I think with that, final ratings for the movie.
9 out of 10.
I'm struggling to give this. Like a 9 out of 10 is good. 9 out of 10 is good rating.
I don't think I'd give it more.
I want to give it a little bit more. I want to give it like a 9.2.
See, I thought that, but I think I'll give it a 9.2 because I fucking loved it coming out of it, and I still think it's great. I'll give it a 9.2, and I'll see how I feel for next week. I think I was just blown away. You know what am I saying? 9.2. I completely. I watched it, and it reinvigorated me how good the Ape movies are.
If it's willing to get society talking about ape movies once more, something which probably would have fell into the shadows. Like people, like I said at the start of the pod, there, people knew these movies were good, but nobody went, "Oh my god, the Apes movies are the best movies ever."
Well, genuinely, I mean, they were 7 years ago. Think of how many people, if you ask about the Ape movies, they'll be like, "What Ape movies? Like what? Like David Attenborough?" Like, like, think of how many people don't know about the Apes movies. If you're 16, you know about the Apes movies.
Yeah, you would not know about the Ape movies, and you'd be like, "Oh, they're just another fucking CGI cluster bomb."
You're like, oh, is this like the Jungle Book? You know,
the Jungle Book remake. What do you mean they're based on? It's a retcon. Ew! I only like the original trilogy.
You tell me Mowgli's a woman? God damn, everything's woke.
Dear God.
You tell me Idris Elba is not in this?
Idris Elba. Whoa.
Like, he was in Jungle Book. He was. Yeah,
he was.
I'm not insinuating anything. Idris Elba is he's a great actor, and any movie will be looking to have him. So that's why I expect him to be the main villain in Planet of the Apes 5.
The Dark Tower, especially, you know.
Yeah, and Pacific Rim, you know.
Pacific Rim Uprising. Oh yes. Was he in the original Pacific Rim, or was he? He was
in one. He was the commander, and he was the adopted father of the Asian woman.
Oh, he was.
He had like nosebleeds whenever he thought about the robots. And he'd be like, damn. Anyway.
Yeah. I think that's it, folks. Thanks, Bill, for watching. It's Friday, Gen V. Finally got onto it. And talks and discussions about season 3. Probably season 4. Season 4 of The Boys.
Yeah, for The Boys happening next month. Jesus Christ.
Next month.
It's all happening. It's all popping off now.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Mill. And we'll see you later.
Bye-bye.